Hello, Biscuit. Just, you can sit as long as you don't eat the microphone. You can sit as long as you don't eat the microphone. Oh. Okay, we got a little bit of echoey feedbackiness here. Thank goodness they subtitled the title. Like, there's not even a voiceover. What the hell is the point of the subtitles? Also, I have no idea how the sound balance is yet. I guess I don't need to let that whole thing... Okay, well, first of all, I need to lower my volume. Okay. And then I need to press any button. And then we immediately need to handle the audio issue. And there is no... And you need to stop rubbing your face on the microphone, dear. Alright. Alright, that seems good. So, this is a little bit different this week. I don't even know what the hell. I don't know. What am I doing? Okay. All right. No, yeah, we're not. Can I just be offline? Yeah, okay. Let's just be offline. Okay. Yeah, so this isn't Silk Song this week. And in a world where demons have souls. Well, actually, like in the attract mode, there's this whole little story where it's like, on the first day, humanity was given souls. On the second day, God put a demon that eats souls in the world. And it's like, why would... That's a terrible... Like, that's such a screw job. Like, on the first day, I slathered you with barbecue sauce. On the second day, I created sharks. Okay. Anyway, what the hell is going on here? All right. I don't have any sort of saved game or anything here. And we're just going to use my standard name here. We're just going to get started quick. And then I'll sort of explain what the hell this is all about. We don't need a starting gift, and... Nah, I don't. And we're just going to go with preset number 1, Scarred Combat Not Dude. Okay.
King Alant XII, by channeling the power of souls, brought unprecedented prosperity to his northern kingdom of Boletaria. That is, until the colorless deep fog swept across the land. Boletaria was cut off from the outside world, and those who dared penetrate the deep fog never returned. But Valifax of the Royal Twin Fangs broke free from the fog and told the world of Boletaria's plight. That the old King Alant had roused the Old One, the great beast below
Hello,
the Nexus,
BC-56.
from its eternal slumber, and that a colorless fog had swept in, unleashing terrible demons. The demons hunt down men and claim their souls.
Somebody in the chat will have to let me know if the sound balance is okay.
Their minds. The mad attack the sane, and chaos reigns. Valifax also spoke of the enticing power of the demon souls. Each time a demon claims a human soul, the demon's own soul is invigorated by the life force, and the power of a mature demon soul is beyond human imagination. The legend spread quickly. Mighty warriors lured by the possibilities braved the fissure to breach the accursed land, but none have returned. Pure of the Twin Fangs, yet the silent chief, Saint Urbane, Scurva the Wanderer, the sixth Saint Astraea with her night guard Vinland.
Oh, I thought she was the sick saint, as if she was ill. I never had the captions on, and her being ill makes sense. Huh.
Humankind
Okay.
faces a slow and steady extinction. The deep fog will
Also,
eventually
the sixth
swallow
sheet slitter's
all
son,
lands near
Stephen.
and far. But Boletaria has one final hope. A lone warrior who has braved the baneful fog. Has the land found its savior? Or have the demons found a new slave?
Just realized that was a reference to a Pinky and the Brain episode that was absolutely awesome. Because the entire episode was just one long tongue twister, which involved them trying to take over the hack and sack Sacco kicky sack kicking factory, which was a place that made like these little athletic like hacky sacks. But I don't think anybody even knows what a hacky sack is anymore because I'm old. Anyway, what the hell is this, and why isn't it Silk Song? Well, I'm taking a little break from Silk Song because I don't know if I want to commit to Silk Song for months and months and months. And I'm not really even committing to this right now. This is just a thing to do for tonight. And really, it's because of one particular level. So, I also haven't played this game in ages. So this should be... yeah, taking a break from Silk Song to play a less frustrating game. No, honestly, my desire when doing game streaming is that I always want to have something interesting to say about the game and its design. And Demon Souls has one really... Like, I love this game, though there's more to say about that. But it has one really great level And that level actually has some excellent shapes for game mastering. It's also fortunately like the first level, but we'll talk about that when we get there. So I wanted to talk about one level in this game, the Boletarian Palace. But I also haven't booted up this game in ages. And I don't know it that well because I didn't play the original. I only played it with the PlayStation 5 remake. Like most people, I didn't play Demon Souls. My first introduction was Dark Souls, the first Dark Souls. So I came to this late. And it's actually pretty funny because the first level in this game is the peak of FromSoft level design. It really is. But right now we're just going through the tutorial area. And, you know, it's your standard Soulsborne tutorial area. You walk through, it tells you how to do light attacks and heavy attacks and block and lock on. And it makes you fight little zombies. And this could be comically bad. I started with the Wanderer because I like to be roly when I play Souls games. But I would prefer to have the spear. But the dude who starts with the spear also, he starts with heavy armor. So we're going to start with light armor, and we're going to try and get a spear. But I'm also not committing to stick to this, because we're really just going to take a good look at one level once we get there. In the meanwhile, though, I don't know what to do with Sunday night streaming. I definitely do want to do it on a weekly basis, only because I enjoy it. It's something that I would do purely for fun. Sweetie, yeah, we can't right now. I also have a cat who is really competing for my attention. I don't even remember where the hell to go. Oh, right, the Archstone. There we go. Okay, so I don't really know what I want to do. I would like to eventually finish Silksong because I never did. But I don't know if I really want to commit to doing it every week for months and months. So it may take a little while to find my footing, and in the meanwhile, we'll just find games with interesting stuff to talk about. And it's also kind of funny going back to a Soulsborne right now, because I have been working very hard on my role-playing game project, Slapdash. And a good deal of the combat engine, of what I want to accomplish with the combat engine, happened because of my first experience with Dark Souls. And it was actually my first experience. I remember it very distinctly because it was when I picked up the halberd. I guess I should be playing Dark Souls instead of this. But honestly, this game, like I said, it's a very particular level that we'll get to. But anyway, there was a moment in the first Dark Souls where you pick up the halberd, and I didn't know how much I liked spear weapons until Dark Souls. But then again, the thing that the original Dark Souls did for many people, because again, that was the breakout hit. Demon Souls kind of went a bit under the radar. Come on, let me get behind you. Why don't you want to get stabbed in the back? Alright. You know what? Okay, mistakes were made. We'll just go with the guard. Oh right, stamina exists. So the thing that Dark Souls did that really no action RPG had ever done. I mean, I shouldn't say no, but it was very uncommon in action RPGs, was it made melee combat feel really good. It nailed melee combat. Because melee combat in 3D games just wasn't great before Dark Souls. And Dark Souls showed exactly what melee combat could be if you really polished it up. And that's what I want to accomplish with Slapdash and my role-playing game project, is I think tabletop role-playing games have forgotten how... Actually, you know what? I don't think they ever did. I don't think tabletop role-playing games ever made melee combat feel good. I think it always boiled down to just like, you know, you hit things with a... We're just going to be milking the backstabs for all they're worth. It's just you hit things with a pointy stick. What do you do this turn? I hit something with a pointy stick. You know? Okay, yeah, okay. I let you have your shot. That's fine. No, I meant to... Oh, okay. Dark Souls 1 is also a great example of progressive encounter design. Like, the first 10 encounters, you can follow this progression of how it's training you to think about its encounters. And again, like, the lead into the Dark Root... I'm playing Demon Souls so that I can talk about Dark Souls. But I mean, this is the friggin' tutorial area, right? So, who gives a shit? Alright, this is where we go with the Vanguard Demon. Oh, okay. Alright. My roll timing is a little off. Because I was gonna try and roll through his attack.
Soul of the lost withdrawn
I'm not...
from its vessel.
It's... You know what? Fine. Story. Blah, blah, blah.
Granted so the world might be mended.
The one issue with this game is it has way more story than it needs, which is a shame because it otherwise executes the whole story thing, I think, better than Dark Souls did. So here we are with... Instead of comparing Silksong to Hollow Knight the whole time, now we're just going to be comparing Demon Souls to Dark Souls. What this game does with its story is there is this sort of difficult to piece together lore of this game and backstory, but none of it is necessary to understand what's going on. The actual story of the game is very simple. There are demons in the world, and they eat people and eat people's souls. And then, yes, I know. And then get... Okay, yes, I get it. Okay. I'm not even going to talk to all the people. We're just going to jump in. Okay. I'll come back to the whole story thing. I might regret that, because we might end up playing for a little while. Yeah, whatever. We're just going to jump in. Okay. Unlike other Souls games, this is I keep touching the microphone, and I'm sorry. This game is based on a hub world and teleportation paintings. It's like the Super Mario 64 of Soulsborne games. So each of the game consists of 5 worlds. Each world is divided into 3 or sometimes 4 levels. And the levels are actually fairly linear. So it's not an interconnected spaghetti world. But this level right here, the first level of the Boletarian Palace, shows everything FromSoft would ever figure out about interconnected level design. And shortcuts and checkpoints, and it ties into a lot of stuff that I said recently when I was talking about how players explore. And one of the things that FromSoft games do great, and this is no exception, is that most of what you can see in the skybox, you're going to go there. Like we're now, just by scanning the horizon here, we get an overview of this whole level. And we even see the goal, because our goal is to penetrate into Boletarian Palace, or the Palace of Boletaria. But first we're going to turn back because there's always an item hidden behind the spawn point. So, I was saying that this game has the right amount of story and lore for what it's trying to do. Because the actual story of the game is fairly simple. It is just, there is a terrible demon, the demon has woken up, the world is being invaded by demons, now go kill everything until finally you kill the demon, and then you have saved the world. Okay. Which, that's perfect. You got a little clipping issue there. Okay. There is a lot of hidden tidbits of lore. Like all the characters that were mentioned in the opening scene, they all come back into the game, and so I don't remember where people are. They all come back into the game in some way later. Either as NPCs in the hub, or as enemies, or what have you. And then there is this implied story about how the misuse of soul arts, both sorcery and miracles, is what caused the whole problem in the first place. But and then each world has its own little backstory to it of, you know, who ruled it and what it was. And that's all great because it gives the world a very lived-in feel, but it also doesn't make the lore impenetrable and obtuse. You know, it makes putting together the lore of the game kind of a bonus feature. And future FromSoft games... Whoa, I am on fire. Okay. Future FromSoft games veered away from that and made the actual lore of the game impenetrable. Alright, anyway, back to level design. So we've reached the main gates of the palace, and clearly from the way everything was set up, we want to get into the main gates, but we can't. And now we are presented with two choices, right and left. And I'm going to be very obvious about the level design for a minute, and there's nowhere we can go that way. But this is a tower that climbs up to that big wall, the top of the big wall. And going this way. So, and we can see an item through that gate that tells us we'll be going through that gate later, but for now, we're going to have to turn aside. So, right from the get-go, the game is setting us up with this idea of a goal, but we're going to have to kind of take a windy path around it. And it's also setting us, like, we'll talk a little bit about the challenge design here. It's also setting us up to be careful and be alert. You know, if we just rush in there and try to fight those two dudes, then we're going to get shot by crossbow guy. And as we were walking along, that's an instant kill pit, by the way. I don't know why that's there. I don't know why it has sparkles in it. It's probably some of the impenetrable lore. Okay. But what we end up in is obviously so far a very linear level where we're just kind of following the only path available to us. And that's okay for a start, because that's just the setup. And in fact, even Dark Souls and other games of that ilk are actually much more linear than they're not. And they're meant to be. And that's not really a problem per se, because they feel more explorable than they are. Whoops. Come on, guy. Alright. Ow! I thought you were dead. Didn't I stab you? Or, oh, I do just enough damage that my backstabs don't kill. Or just too little damage. The other thing that's interesting to note is that in this game, the fog was not just a game mechanic, but it was also explained in the lore as the colorless fog that sort of shrouded the world and prevented people from traveling from one place to another, and eventually just kind of broke the world. The fog was, of course, it exists for a couple of reasons, mainly that tie into the multiplayer and to lock off boss arenas and things like that. But it was also it was a thing in the world. And then it was sort of hinted at being an expression of the fracturing of the world. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, I am not doing well with the whole fire thing. Okay. And the guys above that drop fire on you that you can't quite reach, they... And what we're doing here, by the way, is we're now, like, wending our way. If we don't realize it until we come out here, what we've now been doing is... I keep forgetting those guys do that little berserk thing. So we've actually been walking along inside the battlement, inside the castle wall, and we can see the bridge that we started on now as we're working our way up to the top of the wall. And so far, it's again just a very linear, but switchback path with a few opportunities to find some items along the side. And... or to fall down like that. Oh, I thought there was an item in there, but I can't get that yet. I don't remember. Okay. So yeah, we're in a switchback path, winding back and forth, and the constant direction changes make the path feel less linear than it is. Because if you were to ignore the direction changes, we're just kind of heading in a straight line, following the path the game gives us. Oh, okay. And now we can get to that item. Right. Which is a sword we don't care about. A sword whose parents weren't married. This, of course, like... This seems like such an insignificant thing, fighting this dude here. And even fighting the guys in the hallway below. Because of the way your weapon clatters off the walls and stuff, it is teaching you to pick your battlefields and pull the foes down. Oh. Whoa. And of course, as soon as we emerge onto the wall, we're getting shot at from behind. Which... I'm trying to explain something here to the nice folks at home. You know what? I'm gonna come and stab you. Or slash you. Okay. So as you emerge, because you've now been on this linear path the whole time, you might just keep moving forward, but getting shot at from behind, and the first bolt didn't even hit me, draws your attention to the fact that now suddenly we have a choice. We can go back this way, or we can go the other way. And also the game is expecting us to manage more complicated opponent setups here, because we have a crossbow guy and we have spear guy. And I just ignored crossbow guy. And I'm not going to go any further in this direction just yet, because I want to make a point about how cleverly the game uses now the fog mechanic and this junction. Okay, so let's carry on just a bit. Because this moment here on top of the battlement is the most important moment in this level. Oh. I forgot you guys have a smashy move. Alright. Okay. So, right now we have the path off to behind us, behind the direction we came up. There's actually a drop-off here, which we might not notice. That's a secret. We can go in this direction as well, and we have a fog gate. And what's really interesting about the fog gate is that we have now learned that fog gates mean forward progress. So, standing here at this junction, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different directions to explore, one of which is progress, and that tells us the other 3 are side paths. Okay, without the game telling us anything about it, we just understand that because we now know what progress means. So we can check our different side paths, and here we find an item, and then that brings us back into the wall, and this is one of those annoying guys who was throwing fire at us earlier, and he apparently didn't survive his fall, and I am eating a lot of grass, which is... Oh, shit! Oh, I missed my drop. So we're going to talk about death mechanic now. All right, take 2. It's a shame I didn't choose a different path first. Okay. So obviously this is a corpse running game because, you know, that's the deal with Soulsborne games. They do the corpse running mechanic where we now have to get back to our corpse in order to recover our souls, which we'll eventually use to level up. I also didn't talk about the like humanity mechanic. And I probably should talk a little bit more about the game mechanics in general because this was a PlayStation exclusive. It flew under the radar in its first release, and the remake then obviously has a little bit less exposure than something like Silksong or Hollow Knight, which are some of the most best-selling video games of ever. But I mean, you can kind of see what it is. It is basically an action, you know, a third-person action RPG. I'm gonna get myself killed here. With the R in very lowercase letters. Though, I mean, okay. Genres, subgenres. Do we want to do this? Okay. Genres. Right? It's always tricky to talk about the genre of a video game. And it always starts fights. Especially because, like, now we have the term Soulsborne, or Souls-like. And I hate the term Souls-like, by the way. I don't mind Soulsborne so much. But it is important to note that Soulsborne is not a genre. It is a subgenre. It is a subgenre of action RPGs. Technically, and this gets really weird, like if you want to really call it properly, you would refer to this as a Western RPG, even though it was made by a Japanese company and a Japanese developer. It is nonetheless in the style of a Western RPG. Very action-oriented. And the phrase RPG in video games, especially when we talk about subgenres, the phrase RPG generally refers to some kind of stat-based mechanics, either as part of the execution challenge or replacing the execution challenge, and some kind of leveling progression. Okay, and this game does both of those, because even though there's a lot that is just down to your player skill, nonetheless, you have stats, and the stats, like damage and strength and stuff, determine how much damage you take and how much you deal and your hit points and stuff like that. And then on top of that, you do have a leveling mechanic, whereas you gather souls, you feed them to Candle Lady, and then she levels up your stats. So when a game, like, you'll hear the phrase RPG mechanics. And when a game has RPG mechanics, that says it's probably got an experience and level system, or at least it's got some kind of stat progression. Anyway, so that's the genre thing. All right, I'm shaking the rust off my armor here. So, I was talking about the whole corpse running mechanic. So the corpse running mechanic is, well, we know what it is. I don't know. I'm the problem with streaming any Souls game is that you end up playing the same areas over and over again. You know, unless you're actually good at them. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Firewood Mind is saying God the sound effects. In a good way or a bad way? I probably should put... So, this... I sort of assumed everybody... Okay. Enough being set on fire. I would like this item, please. Okay. So this is a PS5 remake, remaster, whatever. It's a remake. But it's a very, very faithful remake of a PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2 game? I don't remember what the original... I should. Man, the color guy is blowing it here. Because I'm supposed to know all of this. Anyway, I think it was... Okay, Avatar Cliffy is confirming PS3. The chat is confirming PS3. Right, so it was a PS3 game. It was remade by this studio, Blue Point Studios, who, while they do have a couple of original games to their credit, they did do a lot of remakes and remasters, and they also did a lot of contract work. I think they're sort of I think they were mainly a second-party developer by the end, owned by Sony. Or they did a lot of work for Sony. In fact, no, they must have been. Because recently, Sony shut down Blue Point Studios, the company that made this remake. Which is, quite frankly, a crime. Because this remake is a work of art. I mean, graphically, it's gorgeous. Sound design-wise, it's amazing. It's very faithful to the original. And the effort that they had to go to, it's not really appreciated exactly the challenges that they faced. Because, okay. Dude, I'm trying to... Why are you losing health? Did you poison yourself? Stop healing! That's for player characters! There we go. Does my stupid curvy sword have a bleed effect on it? Oh, okay. Yeah, my curvy sword has a bleed effect. Alright, now I gotta go find my souls. They should be up here, but there's gonna be a... It's gonna be a fire guy. I'm much happier when I have a... Yeah, say corpse running. And now we'll drop onto the stairs instead of missing them. Okay. We are back to where we were. Anyway, Sony shut down Blue Point Studios, which was a crime because this game is a work of art. This remake is a work of art. And the original game was actually really great. So it was a work of art, copying a work of art. Okay, so we talked about how fog door shows progress. So now we suddenly recognize that we have multiple paths. And that first path is just a little bit of a loop where we can drop down, get a treasure, and then get spit back out onto the path we were on. If we go this way, though, I'm going to be a little bit careful, and I'm not going to make a terrible discovery here. Because I'm not equal to this challenge, especially because it's been a long time since I've played this. But we run into one of those, into this knight with the red eyes. Right? And he goes right through our shield, and he's a pretty nasty dude. And we could... Uh-oh. 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 Okay. Alright, we're gonna... Alright, we can spend a little bit more time with the path up to the battlements. Alright, yeah, no. And you'd think I'd start to remember where the bad guys were. Anywho. What I was going to say before I got viciously impaled up above was that by showing us how to discern forward progress, and then showing us that we have those optional paths up, or those side paths up above, and then we run into that enemy who is... Okay. And you just had to add your 2 cents, didn't you? I got frustrated playing Silk Song because I wasn't good at it anymore, and so I decided to come and play this instead. Which I'm clearly much better at. I am going through a lot of grass. Alright. Okay. I always forget how much cognitive load for me it takes to actually talk and analyze, and also how much cognitive load it takes for me to not die. And so I'm not a natural streamer by any stretch of the imagination. You know what? We're going right up here. We're taking you out first. I hate you. I hate you too. You guys are making me look bad. Now I'm taking a little break just to actually, make sure I don't die here. Okay. So the Red Eyes Knight is actually visually well designed to convey that it is dangerous. Because at this point you have now fought a Blue Eyes Knight in the tutorial zone. And then when you get to the top of the walkway, you may have fought... You know what my problem is? I keep forgetting stamina exists. I'm like in a, jam on the button mindset. And then I run out of stamina. I used to be good at stamina management. Okay, I shouldn't have backed straight away too, from the guy who just throws fire straight at your face. What I should have done is kept moving forward and done stabbing. And then this other... and then we got this guy. Okay. So, by the time you encounter that Red Eyes Knight, you have fought at least one Blue Eyes Knight. And the Blue Eyes Knight is a tricky opponent that likely you have even died to maybe once or twice. It's definitely more powerful than the other mobs that you're encountering right now. We're just going to roll through here. But then, this is the other thing, like, nothing gives up aggro, too. I'm so afraid to leave anything alive behind me. Okay. So, taking that same design and just making it now a Red Eyes Knight, because of the significance of the color red as compared to the color blue, it already warns you that the Red Eyes Knight is going to be much more... I'm just using those names because I don't know what the real names are, okay? Yeah. I'm using their Yu-Gi-Oh names. Okay. But anyway, yeah. And I am not fighting you in that hallway. So the Red Eyes Knight is already warning you that it is more dangerous than the Blue Eyes Knight just because it is the same kind of enemy, but red. And red is always dangerous compared to blue. It's literally just a palette swap. But by also putting it up here, where you have now recognized that where you are is on an optional side path, the game is giving you permission to come back later for it. Which is something that a lot of games struggle with. For example, let's say you had a very, very difficult side area that was really meant to be held off until later, unless you wanted to really challenge yourself. Maybe an area that was full of particularly beefy ant monsters. And you wanted to tell the player, it is okay to leave this until later. This area very effectively... Did I leave my souls up here by Red Eyes? Oh, no, I did. Alright. And he's not going to leave me alone either. He's going to aggro on me, and he's going to follow me. Is he coming? Oh, he is. Oh, shit. It wasn't what it was. It wasn't what it was. Great. Now I gotta fight Blue Eyes. And meanwhile, Red Eyes is gonna come up right behind me while I'm stuck in that animation. Is he still coming? Is he still coming? The other thing I want to say now that we're back on the track here, again, I don't want to go through there yet because that's progress, and I want to explore and clear the area. And the game has been training me also to explore and clear the area because it keeps hiding items inside areas. So if I poke in every corner and crevice, then I am likely to find good stuff. So by the time I get to this point where I have a decision, the game has now taught me poke into every crevice. And so I don't want to go forward. That's also really brilliant too. That is the game teaching you about explosive barrels by letting enemies run into them and blow themselves up. The game's doing a lot here. Okay. But now it's put me in this tower, which was a side path, but I'm compelled to keep walking along it. This is the longest side path, the longest branch that I've now encountered so far. We'll go back out there in a second, because I'm worried that... Okay, he's not coming. I know to do that. Like, if I had the online enabled, there would be little graffiti telling me to do that. Otherwise, that's one of those world interactions you just kind of learn. You can... Please don't kill me here. Please don't kill me here. It's so important that you don't kill me here. I don't want to do the same area again for the 17th time. I know I'm supposed to be better at this. I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. Thank you for not killing me. Okay. So the game has basically done everything in its power now to compel me to go down this side path. And the side path just keeps stretching farther and farther. But I'm going to follow it to conclusion. And I get to the bottom here. And there is the gate with the item in it. And if I don't, like, as soon as I see the item in it, I'm going to take a moment to think, and I'm going to notice the lever, pull the lever, and thus completes... Okay, so first there's... By cutting those chains, I dropped these bodies, which unlocks a NPC interaction that we don't give a shit about. But also... I have now brought myself back down to the beginning, which means I have also opened a shortcut so that if I die, and I will, again, I now don't have to do the whole zigzag inside the wall. I can go right up this tower. But also, I should now be thinking about the other tower. Right? Because there is another tower and another gate on the other side. And so at some point I should be expecting to come down there and thinking, oh, goody, I will have another shortcut later. Okay. So the game has done everything in its power to tell me how its level is designed here. It says what you're going to do is you're going to make progress, you're going to make progress, you're going to make progress. And then at some point, we're going to give you the opportunity to lock in that progress by opening a shortcut. Moreover, that shortcut is so valuable that the game has now guaranteed that I am going to explore the hell out of every area before I go through another fog gate. The shiny item down there, by the way, and it's a little hard to see, but there's also a dude up there, is trying to draw me over to that place, which can be a little bit tricky to reach, especially if you don't... The game kind of screws up there, and I'll come back to it. Right. You know, and I even backed up. I even said, you know what, I know those are explosive barrels, because the game taught me about explosive barrels. And I know those night guys throw fire bombs, so I am not going to stand near the explosive barrels when he throws the fire bomb, and I'm just going to scooch back half an inch here. And scooching back half an inch from an explosion is not enough. Alright, guys. Alright, and then... But now notice, too, that we're now starting to read other signaling in the level. Yeah, I was going to come back to the whole vaulting over ledges in this game. It's so underused that you forget you can do it when you need to. And there's only like 3 places in the whole game where you need to. Okay, so now notice that after teaching me all of that, the game is now giving me forked paths. Like, oh, I have a left and I have a right and I have a straight ahead. And then there's these breakable battlements. I have seen plenty of soldiers break through these battlements, so I know I can do it too. And then I find Shop Dude.
Care to look over my wares? Mostly stolen, but...
And the only reason I'm even talking to Shop Dude is because I want a real weapon, and the real weapon is a spear. I am done with this sword. Oh, I had a knife too. I mean, I I like the curvy sword. Plus it makes people bleed. Am I still light enough to roll? Okay. So the spear... So it was actually the halberd in the original Dark Souls that made me really take notice of the combat engine, of the melee engine. And particularly what I noticed is that it's the weapon that really shows you, first of all, that if you're cocky with it, you're going to get killed. But it's the weapon that shows you that the range of or the reach of the weapon and the speed with which you can use it aren't mere animation thing. Oh, right. Okay. All right. So there's archer dudes up above. They aren't mere matters of animation because you can actually interrupt guys as they wind up their swing in the way you would be able to do, because my spear has longer reach than the sword, so I can strike you with the spear before you're close enough to stab me with your sword, and so on, right? So there's... Oh, upstairs. There's another dude upstairs. Yeah, okay. We're gonna stay away from your crossbow buddy here. All right, yeah, okay. We'll both take a snack break. I also love the spear animation. Oh, I was really expecting him to die from that strike. Okay. Ooh, I got his shield, and I don't care. Okay. And now crossbow knight guy. Or crossbow guy. If I had made that fall, I wouldn't have survived. And oops. Uh-oh. Progress. Well, let's not do that yet, because I was just kind of following where the enemies were attacking me. So, and I don't want to make further progress yet. I don't want to lock myself into that, because I've now learned. And so here we are now, carrying out that lesson, and now we will continue to explore this courtyard area. And so again, the game has sort of expanded... Like, it's letting me have more choices to do more actual decision-based exploration. Whereas it trained me on linearity so that it could teach me how its encounters work and how to play the game. It then had that one moment... Oh yeah, okay, right. It then had that one moment where it's like, okay, this is how the game really works. And now we have... And one of the lessons that the game teaches you that you can tell that I'm paying very, very careful attention to is don't get drawn into a fight with multiple enemies at once. Like, always pick your battlefield with care and never try to take on 3 or 4 foes at a time. And you can tell that I've really internalized that because I'm not making that mistake at all, ever. Right? So now, oh. Notice the use of light to draw my attention back behind that barricade. And I can't remember the direction that we're exploring in, so... Whoa. Yeah, okay. I do like two-handed spear. It just opens me up to a lot of damage. I also forgot to put on my magic ring. The magic ring that basically the pay 1 ring slot to not be penalized by being dead. And that there was what I've been hoping to do for a while now, which was demonstrating the proper use of the distance and reach and all of that. At least once to just show off. See, and that's how you actually manage your distance and just stay just out of the opponent's reach and all of that. The thing that I was talking about that I actually can't pull off. I know you have... Alright. I am taking an awful lot of damage here. I'm not usually this tanky. Okay. Anywho. Whoa, 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 whoa. It is... The only problem is it's a little hard to judge the distance when your character is standing in the way. The third-person view does make it a little bit tricky to judge the character distances. Oh, you got one more here, huh? Okay. Oh, so this is Prince somebody of something.
For your brave rescue.
He's important.
Ostrava of Boletaria.
He's Prince Ostrava of Boletaria. Except, I'm told in the lore that his real name is actually different. He's not really Ostrava. Like, his real name is like Adrian Tepes Draghul or something. Okay. And then once we saved him, he then just wanders around the area looking for... Ow. Really hate the crossbow guys. Oh! Did he duck? You bastard! Uh-oh. No, I'm joking, but somebody who played a lot of Demon Souls, who was really obsessed with the game, I think Arthur, actually, he told me that Ostrava's real name isn't Ostrava, and there's like an important revelation about it, but it also works out to be completely meaningless, because in the end, it is just the dude's name. Oh shit! Sorry. Oh shit! I critted Adrian Ostravanus. Like, I can't chalk that one up to an accident. Like, if I bonked him in the head with the haft of my spear, then that's one thing. But I walked up behind him, drove my spear straight through him, dropped him to the ground, and then stabbed him again. It's like, oops. Sorry. I'm mad. I didn't realize it gives me shards right away. I could go level up my spear. Yeah, right? The new animations on the backstab make it seem so personal. Oh, so that was what I wanted to talk about. Now that I've talked about, like, the importance of the speeds of the animation, because there's a lot to the animations of the attacks that you don't necessarily realize. Obviously, there is this whole thing of the range, the distance of your attack, which is very important. But on top of that, like, the speed with which you can attack also affects your weapon DPS. If you have a faster animation, you can belt out more attacks, and each attack takes a certain amount of stamina. And this is all balanced to make the combat engine work. So when Bluepoint remade this game, they had to go back through and reanimate everything. And they had to make it frame perfect so that it didn't fuck up the original combat balance by by making things, by making animations come too fast or changing distances or anything like that. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you come over here. We'll have a private conversation, and then I'll go talk to your friends. Okay. Okay. I don't remember this section. This is brutal. I don't remember this hallway. This is a really nasty hallway. I'm gonna die in this hallway. There's an easier way to handle this hallway. Is there? Should I be firebombing? Should I have my magic ring on? I should put my magic ring on. We'll put the magic ring on. Oh, shit! I didn't get the other ring. We gotta go back. Which, like, I'm not planning to ever continue this playthrough. But I still gotta go back and get the ring. There is another magic ring. Really? This is what we're doing now? Chat's giving me hints? This is where we're at, huh? You took pity on me. So this is it. This is a spot where if you remember that you can vault over walls, you can get this other magic ring, and the other magic ring makes it change. It basically. You know what? I'm gonna say this. Between the sneaky ring and the cling ring, I feel like those two rings, you never take them off, and between the two of them, they kind of actually break a lot of the game. And there's certain boss fights especially that get really broken by the sneaky ring. Anyway, that's just my feeling on it. In fact, you know what? Let's stop being a pussy about it. Anyway. Oh! Oh, right. I suddenly remember now. There's the bowling ball trap. See, this would go off and get me from behind, wouldn't it? How many of there are you? Oh, there's like 17. Okay, you know what? Fine. I wasn't going to do it the sissy way. Serpentine, 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 serpentine. Okay. Now, you know what? They did it to themselves. Okay. I feel better. But that was some damn good... Oh, shit. Someone's still shooting arrows. God bless that one soldier who sees those... The stupid bowling balls coming at him and decides that his last act in this world is not going to be fleeing, but rather putting one last arrow in my face. Bolt, quiver, whatever. Oh, I got a reach weapon too. Oh shit. Okay, fine. They have longer spears. Fine. We'll switch to nimbleness. Okay. Alright, so we got prominent hallway, we got balustrade balcony. Let's do prominent hallway. I don't remember this section of the level at all. This is sort of where the level is just like, okay, now just kind of wander around. Kind of lost. Oh, Oh, someone's coming. Let me ask you a question. Oh. Alright, I'll spear you any more puns. Yes, oh dog, that's like their signature move. Alright, I see some items over there, and can't think of any reason why I shouldn't just rush over there and try to get them. I actually do, so if we stay off the big cliff for now. If we stay off the cliff, then they make a lot of noise, and we can just pick up some... Yeah. Alright, so I found some stuff. Picking up a lot of items, not even talking about the items, even though even the items... Like, there's... The items placement here is very well done. Anyway, okay. Alright, so again, though, now I've been trained to understand side path and don't bother things I can't take. Because I can always come back. Alright. Anyway. I don't remember... I really don't remember this level. I don't remember another long hallway full of enemies. Like these... Ow, ow, ow. Oh shit, I do remember. I just remembered. Or did... Wait. That's enough from you. Wasn't there supposed to be fire? What even is happening? Oh, dog, I'm not even kidding. I thought that's what was supposed to happen. But it just... Okay, now it's happening now. It's happening now. Okay. Okay. Alright, excuse me. Don't mind me. Uh-oh. Huh. So now we can use that shortcut that I unlocked. I do not... Okay. I remember the shape of things. And enough from you. Alright. Now I have a spear. You guys are so screwed. You know what? I'm also going to stop fucking around and stop, like, playing big man. I'm going to put the cling ring on. I'm also going to remember that the game doesn't pause. So there's this gimmick in the game, by the way, if you don't know it, where after you die the first time, you are a ghost. That's why I'm all ethereal and have sparkle motes coming out of me, because I'm a ghost. I'm actually explaining it now, O-Dog. So once you die, you lose your soul or something. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the in-game explanation is. The practical effect of this is while you're in ghost form, the game takes away half your hit point bar. So if you look in the upper left, at my hit point bar was capped at half. Okay. So basically what happens is if you get killed in the game takes away half your hit points until you can prove that you don't need them. And then it gives them back. Okay. In order to come back to life, you have to kill a boss. So in theory, if you can start a level and get all the way through the level without dying one time, then you get to keep your hit points. Otherwise, you lose half your hit points as punishment for not winning in one try. Okay. I also forgot there's like 17 fire guys just sitting there. Yeah, there are... Okay. Well, I mean, the game is hard, but we're doing it, right? Sort of. We're still making progress every time. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna have to concede the explosive barrels the victory. At least an assist there. Anyway. So the Cling Ring is an item that reduces the hit point reduction. You have 2 ring slots. You can wear 2 different rings at a time. And the Cling Ring lets you cling on to an extra 25% of your hit points. And effectively what it means is that pretty much everybody who plays the game, at least initially, they effectively only have 1 ring slot. Because everybody finds the Cling Ring. It's right here in the first level. You stick it on, and then you never ever take it off ever. Now, this whole dying and turning into a ghost involves a ludicrously obscure hidden mechanic. Or it's part of a ludicrously obscure hidden mechanic called World Tendency. I feel like that should do more than 100 hit points of damage. Like, you should not get up from that. There's some definite ludocognitive dissonance or whatever between that animation and that guy standing up and being like, okay, now this is real. Anyway, I'm not going to go through and... Okay, yeah, but we are going to... Fire Guy's going to... Ha! Yeah, I remembered the trick. But I forgot I have a stamina bar and ran out of stamina. Alright. Anywho. Okay. My jabs are faster than your halberds. My jabs are longer than your sword. Just the spear guys that bother me. Oh, and the axe guy who comes running from around the corner. And stamina bar, my greatest enemy. And not noticing where I'm going. And alright, clearly there's something else going on over there, but I don't think it involves me. Oh, my buddy is strong. Oh, ow, okay. I think I've been noticed. Huh. Okay. I don't remember how to get back up now. No, it's not this way. Is it this way? Who's shooting me? Enough now, you dick! I really hate those guys. Where's the way back? And why is Ostrava just kind of standing there taking it? And now I'm afraid to fight with Ostrava too close because I don't want to have an incident where I stab him again. Okay, it's this way. I want to go this way. Oh. Okay. Oh. Oh, hey, fellas. I didn't mean to bother you. Don't mind me. I hate that my spear does just enough damage to not... Oh, shit. Oh, and there's an archer guy. Okay. Unlock. You know what? Alright, you can't... They can't all follow me to the... Right, I'll just make it to the fog gate here. Oh, shit. If you shoot me, Alright, now you're in trouble, because I'm coming for you. Alright. They're not gonna leave me alone, are they? That's it. These are just my buddies for life now. Alright, stamina. Okay. This is the other problem that I have streaming games is that when I don't stream, I am patient. When I stream, I get impatient. And then I start rushing. And you know what? Now I'm fine with this. This is fine. Oh no! What a terrible thing to have happened. Oh. Oh dear. Oh. Crushed by your own petards. Oh no. Okay. Alright. Right. Okay. Alright. Okay, my souls are right there. Okay, let's get my souls. And then let's not just stand here silhouetted against the sky, looking down this corridor at the crossbowmen. Alright. Alright. You gonna come and do your thing? Right. Okay. Alright. Okay, I got a little too close. A little too close to toasty. Okay. Alright. And we're running, 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 and we're rolling, and we're rolling, and... On the one hand, I wanted to complain about the dragon not starting like, no, we don't need to pick up the items, we don't need to pick up the items, we don't need to pick up the items, we don't need to pick up the items. It's fine, it's all just grass. Alright. Oh, hey, look, a tower. Remember when I said 17 hours ago before we played this same level 3 times about now our goal is to get to the other tower? And right at the top of the other tower is this lever. And now the palace gates are open. I like that moment too. Okay. I could swear. Oh, I thought there were stairs down. Alright, I remember nothing of this game. How is that possible? We should have been playing Bloodborne. Which, by the way, so... Honestly, the template... The Boletarian Palace level that we've been going through right now, it basically consists of 2 broad loops. Or 2 big loops that you basically You circle around the first loop, and then you unlock then you get down the tower and unlock the shortcut. Then you keep going, and then there is a second loop where we're going to die here. Though, interestingly enough, if I died here, I wouldn't actually have to come back, except that I would want my souls back, because I have now opened the gates. Not that I was asking for help demonstrating that. But now we're winding around the other tower, and in order to get back down, we also encounter these guys. Okay. Which, apart from the dragon, and that first demon boss, this is like the demoniest enemy that we have encountered. And it's got a shield, and it's basically a blob of goo. Yeah, it is. It is a blob of goo with a shield. And that makes it very tricky to deal with. And the fact that it's on this narrow walkway, and this is our introduction to it, is forcing us to kind of try to figure it out. Now, that's not the best way. Stabbing it through the shield is not the best way to deal with it. But the game is hoping that you will at least be smart enough to start experimenting. And we have been picking up items, and I've been kind of disregarding that, but we're gonna equip grass. There's like 17 different varieties of grass, and they all basically, they give you back certain amounts of hit points. But we can set our weapon on fire, and we can throw those fire bombs. And so and from this we discover, because the game has given us a lot of fire bombs and also the enchanter weapon with fire oil, fire is a very effective way of dealing with these opponents, which is very important because these guys are just the tutorial. So now we go through here. And we're going to equip our swordy sword. And now we have a big old fog gate. We're back at the beginning, and that spear was thrown out. And that might even warn us too, because those phalanx guys, those blobby guys, were throwing spears at us. And now we encounter the actual boss of the area, which, going in without my shield equipped was stupid. But we actually now have a technique, because of the way the game kind of forced us into a confrontation and gave us the tools to reason our way through the confrontation and to discover something about these opponents. But there sure are a lot of them, and we're not interested in the little blobby guys. We're interested in the glowy center of all the blobby guys. The blobby nougaty. Okay. That said, maybe I should stop letting myself get swarmed by all these spear throwers. Okay. But one other thing we can do is we can come around behind her. They... Oh shit. And then we hit the wrong... Then we hit the wrong button. And try to use more... Oh, damn it. Okay. Alright. I'm just gonna hang out in the corner over here for a sec. And that's it. And now notice that because we have now beat the boss of the area, we get to have our hit points back. It's like, okay, all right, you know what? You're good enough now. Okay. And then the game gives us a... Oh, that's just gives us an item. And now it gives us a checkpoint or a teleporter that we can use to go back to the Nexus, but it also unlocks the second level. And now the game is going to throw a bunch of story at us and stuff. And I'm sorry, I keep banging the microphone. Okay. While the game goes on and on about its story and everything, what I really wanted to observe about that level is that that one level is the origin of all of the best of Soulsborne level design. The way it starts with a linear path that loops back in on itself so that you can bank your progress. But it also presents you with a goal, and it helps you identify which ways are forward and which ways are sideways. It gives you permission not to engage with things that are too difficult. It equips you with items that will be helpful against later challenges, forces you to experiment against different challenges and learn from them, and then ultimately gives you a boss fight that is easy to access because you have now unlocked shortcuts and passages. Okay. This, as far as I'm concerned, no level in Demon Souls hits the same high point that Boletarian Palace does. I'm not saying there aren't other good levels. And there's a reason for the fact that none of the other levels hit that same high point. I'm just going to go talk to the Monumentals. They're going to tell us the story, and I'm going to use it as justification to keep talking about what I'm talking about. Because now they tell us the story. Anyway, there are other levels, and each of the levels in Demon Souls is actually very different in terms of how it is structured. Or, I mean, there's maybe 3 to 5 different major structures through it. So you could tell that FromSoft was experimenting with different kinds of level design. But it was the Boletarian Palace that the sort of the looping back in on itself design that became what they were really best at in terms of their map design. And I think in the whole franchise, nothing shows that better than the world design of Bloodborne. Bloodborne has the tightest level design of any of the Soulsborne games. I honestly think Bloodborne is the strongest Soulsborne game there was. It is definitely my first favorite, even though I think Dark Souls 1 was much more significant for a lot of reasons, and mechanically Dark Souls 1 was much more important. And Demon Souls was sort of their experimenting with things and playing with stuff. And that's why there's also some mechanics in Demon Souls that are just so damn obscure and so underused, like the vaulting over railings thing. You only need it a couple of times throughout the game, so that every time you encounter a place where you need to vault, then you just sort of forget about it, and then you don't know what to do. You know, the whole world tendency thing, where if you die in human form, you start making the enemies in the game more powerful. So, as long as you stay as a ghost, the game is easier to play. But if you stay as a human and die too frequently, the game becomes harder to play, which unlocks some secrets. But also, if you manage the world tendency right, then you can access other different secrets, and that was all very, very obscure as well. But as far as their general scenario design, like, it doesn't get better than the Boletarian Palace. Though
Alas,
I absolutely
the
love
other
the Storm
monument
Island
also
and I love the
perished,
Tower of Latria.
and only I remain.
So I've been playing for about an hour and a half now, I think. And it was mostly just wanting to look at one bit of level design in the game. And I'm going to call it a night here. But I have to say, for those of you who've now shown up for this and last week, I do want to keep streaming on Sunday nights. This is a nice, relaxing, chill way to spend a Sunday night. But probably not next Sunday because of the Easter holiday. Maybe I'll do something casual next Sunday too. I don't. It's not like I have anything super big going on in the evening. But what I'm trying to decide is what game do I want to lock into for a while and just play critically through from start to finish. Do I really want to... I don't know that I really want to commit to Silksong right now. I will someday. I really do want to beat that game. But I would like to play a game that I have more insight about. And I am thinking of... One thing I would love to do is maybe go back and replay Hollow Knight and maybe share that with the stream and share my insights on the design, the world design, the mechanics, and also joke around and have a good time. And it'll be laughable because I haven't played Hollow Knight in a long time, and also Silksong has probably broken my ability to play Hollow Knight. I also wouldn't mind doing a playthrough of Bloodborne. I think Bloodborne is, from a dungeon design standpoint or from a level design standpoint, is probably one of the most interestingly laid out and designed games ever. Or I could play more Demon Souls. We could keep going with that. So if anybody has an opinion, if you're a member of the Discord, let me know on the Discord that you have an opinion as to what would be fun to sit with for a few weeks, because any of these games is going to take a few weeks to get through it, 2 hours at a time. And or leave a comment on this video on the YouTubes or whatever. Let me know. I'm mostly doing this for fun, and hopefully there are some interesting insights to take away from it. And if I know what I'm doing in advance, I will actually make it a point to practice whatever I'm playing a bit. Like jumping back into Silksong without practicing it after 3 months of not touching it was kind of a mistake. Or, you know what I've been thinking of doing, and it would be a shorter one, but it would be a good wet my feet thing, is I would love to talk about the structure of Tunic. I would love to do a playthrough of Tunic and show how carefully designed that actually is, especially in terms of the order in which the pages are given to you. But I'm not sure that would be interesting to anyone other than me. Either way, I want to thank everybody for hanging out again this Sunday, and those of you who are Discordians, especially those of you who are members of Club Slapdash. Apparently, I am doing a stream tomorrow night. I have an article releasing on Tuesday. And then we're in a new month. And while I did hit a lot of the benchmarks I wanted to hit here in April, there was also some things that I didn't quite hit. So we still have a little bit of a ways to go in March. So we still have a little bit of a ways to go in April. But I actually feel much more under control of things than I have felt in really about 10 months. So, it is time for my comeback. But that's a story for another time. Everybody have a good night. And I'm going to try and remember how to unbroadcast.